In October 2006, Royal Caribbean International hired us to shoot still photography for their newest luxury cruise liner, the Freedom of the Seas. This is the 20th ship we've shot for Royal Caribbean, and it's the largest cruise ship in the world. The shots we take are used for Royal Caribbean's website. On the site, you can view photographs and virtual reality tours of each class of stateroom and all public areas for every ship in their fleet. This allows potential guests to see their cabins and all amenities exactly as they will once they step on board the ship, which can be a huge benefit when you're planning a cruise. Riley Arnold Productions sent a crew of 3 aboard the Freedom. Sean Darren is our photographer and has lots of experience shooting Royal Caribbean ships. Vince Mann is our producer and has an uncanny ability to get things done. I served as computer tech and podcast producer. Connie Bolano is our Royal Caribbean liaison and helps out in a great many ways, including procuring food when the dining rooms are closed. This video will demonstrate some of the production techniques we used and will present some of the challenges we encountered during the project. It will also show how working long hours with very little sleep will tend to make you act a little goofy.
We're doing the champagne room and looking pretty good there, so we're just going to keep on going a little more to the right.
The cruise ships don't stop their operations so we can take photographs, so our only opportunity to capture images of the ship is during an actual cruise. However, there can't be any people, passengers or staff, in the shots. Also, we must do our best not to interrupt the normal operations of the ship or interfere with any guest activities. Consequently, waiting for elevators with enough room for our gear takes up a good portion of our day. These scheduling restrictions mean that we end up working during odd times and that we must work very quickly in order to get our 3,000 images. 3,000 images, you might ask? Let me explain. We shoot about 50 different locations on the ship. At each location, we shoot a main master shot and an 18-image 360-degree QuickTime VR. One of our techniques when shooting the ships is to take multiple exposures of each shot so we can adjust the varying light levels of the room or location in post. This all leads to over 3,000 clicks of the shutter and some very tired lads sometimes.
Good morning. It's ship's time, almost 4 a.m. That's right, a.m. We wrapped last night about 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. excuse me. But there is a benefit to working this early. It's very easy to get an elevator.
Before we can begin taking photographs, we have to prep each location. This may include straightening all the tables and chairs, replacing burned out light bulbs, wetting down the pool decks, anything that helps create a nice image.
Rather than have to call the electrician every time, went ahead and made some friends. Got me a few extras.
Our equipment consists of a true wide digital sliding back camera, the first one ever made in fact, a Phase 1 light phase digital back, a pair of Nikon wide-angle lenses, a couple of Bogen tripods, a Bogen VR panoramic head, and an Apple 17-inch PowerBook G4 with Phase 1 Capture One Pro software. Working with a limited amount of equipment means we each have to pitch in lots of ingenuity and elbow grease to get the magnificent shots we do. Each setup follows a similar procedure in obtaining the master shot and the VR. Here are some details about our workflow. The first step is to survey the room or location to find the best shooting angle for the master shot. The idea, of course, is to present the area in its most flattering manner and to showcase the features of the ship. Sometimes this is as simple as finding a good corner of the room to shoot from, and sometimes it takes a lot of testing to figure out the best shooting location. Once we find our shooting angle, we shoot a few test images to see if there's anything in the shot that needs to be adjusted, fixed, or removed, and to see if we need to make any final adjustments to our focus, pan, or tilt. We then lock down the camera and shoot a multitude of exposures in order to make sure all areas of the image get properly exposed. This way we can layer the different images in post to make sure no area is blown out because it's been overexposed or too dark because it was underexposed. While Sean is shooting, I'm watching the images as they come into the computer to make sure everything looks good. Once we've captured our still images, we move on to the VR. This requires moving the camera to a more central location of the area being shot. We follow the same procedures as when shooting the master still shot, but we have to be extra careful with our focus and exposures as we're shooting up to 18 different shots in a circle and the image is always changing. We also have to watch out for things like reflections, mirrors, and anything that might get moved during the shoot. We often run into production delays when preparing our locations. Locked doors, burned out light bulbs, scheduling conflicts, and lack of available 120-volt power are just some of the issues we have to deal with. But we're used to having to think on our feet, and I don't think we ever ran into a problem that we couldn't solve besides the bad chicken Sean and Vince ate in Jamaica.
Sean be spreading germs all over with that Jamaican chicken virus he's got, so I ain't trying to get that.
What are you talking about, Willis?
Even when the ship is docked at a destination port, we're usually on board taking photographs. These are actually some of our most productive times since the ship is pretty empty. Still, the sheer size of this ship requires several miles of walking each day and not much time for sleep.
This is my dog. When we started on the cruise, he was all right. But this is what sleep deprivation will do.
Even our podcast production often got interrupted.
6:45 a.m. Been up since 3:30. Sir.
See these chairs?
I gotta go to work.
By the time we returned to Miami at the end of the cruise, we were worn out. The ship is so big and there are so many areas to shoot. That being said, you've got to see the freedom of the seas. Its massive size is only the beginning of what makes it special. The restaurants, entertainment venues, promenade, pools, and other public areas are some of the finest you'll see on sea or land. And the staterooms, especially the higher end ones, are pure luxury. I encourage you to take a look at Royal Caribbean's website to see the ship for yourself. I can't wait to get back aboard the Freedom, hopefully next time as a passenger. Well, that about wraps it up. If you have any comments or questions about this podcast or about Riley Arnold Productions, please take a moment to send us an email. We always appreciate viewer feedback. And if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see in future podcasts, we'd like to hear that too. That's all for now. Until next time, thanks for watching.